Officer. Welcome to MBCT, sir, and thank you for being here today with us to enlighten us on the session theme. I now also extend my hearty welcome to the deans and HODs present, to all the faculty, staff, and students who have gathered here to listen and learn from today's session. We are extremely honored to have Professor Rajashree MS with us today. Dr. Rajashree MS served as the former Vice Chancellor of the APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University and as a Senior Joint Director of DTE. She has been leading institutes like the Government Engineering College Barton Hill, IIITM Kerala, and LBS Institute of Technology for Women. She is an active academician and a keen researcher. She is currently serving as the CEO of the TrEST Research Park. I request you, ma'am, to speak a few words on the activities of the TrEST Research Park, on how can student and faculty communities be benefited and through collaboration with the TrEST Park. Please.
Good morning, everyone. Respected principal, respected chief guest and resource person, Commander Dr. Jayakrishnan and Nair, faculty members of MBCT, other staff, my team from TrEST Park, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen. I am very much excited to be part of this opportunity when we are going to listen to emerging defense technologies and opportunities from a person who is from the defense itself. Coming to TrEST Research Park is a Section 8 company which is associated with College of Engineering Trivandrum, where College of Engineering Trivandrum and Directorate of Technical Education, the government represented by the Director of Technical Education, is shareholders of the company. All of us are fascinated by how research parks work, like the IITM Research Park, which is a model for all of us, where academia, industry, and government meet to make innovations happen and make research lead to product and the problems, get problems which are relevant to users, feel the voice of the customer and develop systems, and thus create a very engaging academic environment for academics as well as research. So this has been demonstrated by the top positions that IITM was securing in the world rankings, where clearly defined parameters are there for reckoning how the institute performs in various metrics like innovation, attaching with industry, making economic development for the nation, contributing to the nationally aligned policies and technology development, etc., etc. So TrEST Park is also a humble effort like that, and we are going to be there with these kind of interventions where we want to have the entire academic community of Kerala benefited from the activities of the research park. Thus, we decided to establish small entities called TrEST satellite centers in the campuses, where we will be able to engage the faculty and students from various colleges of the state to the activities of the research park. We have a center of excellence in semiconductors at present, and also a center of excellence in e-mobility. In these, we are creating infrastructure at TrEST, which is at par with the national infrastructure, especially in e-mobility. We are going to establish a drivetrain laboratory as part of a major project called EV Park and EV Consortium of the Government of Kerala, where not only TrEST Research Park, several other agencies also collaborate. Means they are part of this consortium. CDAC, VSSC, Travancore Titanium, IESER, IIT Madras, several other institutions are there contributing their core expertise to the whole project. So I will not go to the details of this, because at some other point we will be able to see how we can all be part of that. At this point in time, when we are engaging Dr. Jayakrishnan for our activities, we want to know that when we are, all of us are good at designing systems, students are very keen in coming up with innovative ideas which can lead to products, but when the products are developed, we need to see many things that are associated with the product development, the design life cycle, then the way the products are designed. You must be familiar with design thinking approach to developing systems, and where exactly these products are being used, where the product development, even the process and also the product that comes out of this innovation cycle has to undergo certain aspects with related to the quality and standards. So these standards are very specific to domains. For example, defense technologies is one such example where there are various standards which most of us are not familiar with. Even I am not familiar with what exactly need to be followed when you are developing drones or any application, any product that matter which can be of use to the defense sector. And we also have witnessed Operation Sindoor. You would have read how the Indian brains contributed to Operation Sindoor and how the precision war equipments and weapons were made by our own young talent of the country for being used by the defense sector of India for specific purposes. So all these do not happen in a day or two, but there are various aspects that needs to be blended in. It's not only the facilities or your computers or your fab labs that matter, but the brains which can actually contribute the knowledge which is required for the development of the project throughout the design and the development cycles, and also to the quality of the products. When I refer to the quality, it refers to various aspects. There are various dimensions to the quality as such. So when we are introducing a talk like this is to make you aware of what are the opportunities available for you and how exactly we should be gearing ourselves towards this development. It is not like we do our final year projects and then make a report and show a prototype, but it is a technologically complete product which can be used in the specific application that the military standards enforce, which is not as simple as we think, but it is a guided process where we need veterans like the resource person who is present here today, who is also part of a big think tank, defense research and defense studies and research group. There are many such people, technical people who have been with the Ministry of Defense, working in such systems, giving projects to other organizations, like other institutions, academic institutions like our institutions, and vetting the products that have been developed as part of projects from these institutions to make them ready, technologically competent to be used in that particular domain. So I believe the purpose of engaging such a professional for the first talk at TrEST Research Park is very, very clear now, when the country is looking forward to the Vikasit Bharat, Make in India, all such initiatives, and we are not only going to be suppliers for our own defense, but also most of the defense equipments and technologies were being imported by the country, which is being changed now, and huge amount of money is being set apart for funding for startups who are engaging in these sectors. So it is not only that we learn, we develop products for something else, but let us have a targeted product development strategy by having these verticals like defense technologies, then aerospace, then healthcare, and there are many of them, electric mobility. And then let us ask ourselves where I would like to improve my talent or profile my talents to make products, and it's not only a mechanical engineer, but a mechanical engineer with a minor in defense technologies. Like, that looks fascinating, right? That is what we are targeting at, and let us have a good start with such an eminent person who will be able to explain to you how this works. So I'm very optimistic about this intervention of TrEST Park into the academic community of Kerala through our humble effort of TrEST Satellite Center centers, and we will be able to, we don't believe in building infrastructure and then sitting on top of that, but we do believe that infrastructure is the bottommost layer over which knowledge layer is to be built, and the whole network to bring in the capabilities for product development and good startups in deep technology areas which are relevant and which are able to reposition and repivot themselves for the changing needs are possible. So startup ideas are great, and all angels and all come and fund, but all these startups, they start something and they fail and they break, but the resilience to come up with new products, new ways to pivot, these are all important, and that's where we need to focus on. So, okay, let me thank Dr. Jayakrishnan Nair, Commander, for accepting our invitation to drive all the way from Cochin to Trivandrum to speak to us on defense technologies. And also I'm thankful to Baselios College of Engineering and Technology for having this wonderful arrangements for this program. TrEST is only a core where we don't have much facility to host such events. Of course, we associate with College of Engineering Trivandrum for all our infrastructure and other capabilities. I wish you good luck, and I believe that the TrEST Satellite Center will be a model center for rest of the colleges in the state, and all these colleges will call us and tell us that we want to be like MBCET. We want to establish a center in their own colleges. Thank you very much, and have a nice day.
Thank you, ma'am, for your enlightening words. And thank you for choosing MBCT as one of the satellite centers of TrEST. Here, I take this opportunity to thank Mr. Bobin Saji George, the tech lead of AV Systems TrEST Park, who has been instrumental and the bridge between MBCT and TrEST Park to organize this event. And I take this opportunity to thank all the entire TrEST Park team who have been working so hard to realize this event. Now, industry is a confluence of scientific knowledge and engineering technology. Industry is nothing but the knowledge in action. In this fast-changing, technology-driven world, we are already in Industry 5.0. It is imminent that academics and research need to adapt and align with the industry needs and requirements for improving the employability of professionals. Defense technology and research is one of those areas that shows heavy growth in terms of both fund allocation and innovation, and this happens all around the world. Today, we are very fortunate to have with us Commander Dr. Jayakrishnan and Nair, who carry vast experience in defense technology and research from his long years of service in the Indian Navy and Armed Forces. Here, I present a brief profile of our esteemed speaker. So, I have served as a commander in the Navy with 25 plus years of operational and administrative experience in Indian Armed Forces and as an aerospace engineer. He is a visionary responsible for successful implementation and delivery of several innovative defense projects and operational assignments across diverse segments while in Indian Naval Service. He is the founder and CEO of the leading think tank Defense and Research Studies. Currently, he serves as the adjunct professor at Shastra University. His educational background is, he has completed his Bachelor of Engineering in Electronics and Communication Engineering. He got an MBA in Human Resources Management. He holds a PGDM from JBIMS Mumbai, and he has an MTech in Avionics and a DASC. He has authored 40 plus articles, papers, and a book, currently focused on the studies associated with AI in defense and applications, and conducts sessions at academics and universities. I welcome you, sir, to deliver this session and wishing all the audience a wonderful learning experience. I request all the students to collaborate, continuously engage with him and utilize his experience. Thank you.
Good morning, students, ladies and gentlemen. May I thank CEO TrEST, Professor Dr. Jayashree ma'am and Principal College for having me here, and also thank for giving that kind of good words on me. So without taking much of your time, let us kickstart this small session. I'm planning to do it in 90 minutes, where I'll have a break in between after 45 minutes, and then I'll continue after that. Okay? So you can ask me questions during that break, or after that you can ask questions for how long, whatever duration you want, you can. Absolutely no problem. Thank you. So there are clear objectives for this session. Basically, I'll give you an insight first, then my whole idea of coming here is to create an interest in you guys. And also during that process, we will explore the startup opportunities which is available in front of you, right? So during the session flow, after the introduction, I will be switching to the core subject, that is the emerging defense technologies. And it is nothing different actually. It is the same technology which I am talking about. It is, it is not specific to defense. It can be applied across the board. It is not specific to defense. Future-proof, lot of scope for innovations, and the last three bullets are very important. Why I said very important? Because this is the most profit-making business in the world, is arms and weapons. So you must understand that. And this has been the monopoly of the Western nations. We have never been into this particular field for quite some time. So now we have tasted that after this Op Sindoor. So this is somewhere we have to really put our hearts and soul. And this is the most important thing. There is a volatile geopolitical situation worldwide. Every drop of a hat, you can see some war is happening. Now it is happening between Cambodia and Vietnam. Bangladesh is having a problem. Pakistan and China is already having a problem with us. So how do you live here safe? We remember, in 2020, I don't know whether you were in the schools or not, but when we had a problem, aggression by the China along our border, we didn't have enough weapons to fight with them. And we were running from pillar to post to get it. This is quite bad actually. We should be prepared, like the way we have prepared for the Op Sindoor. So there are so many things we have to do, and you will play a major role in the coming 5 to 10 years time to actually fill this particular gap which we are having now. And this is what is happening. You could see how things are changing in 2013, no? It's almost 20x. No industry has grown like this. We have reached almost 21 crores exports. Okay, I'm talking about exports. Production is different. And next one you could also see, now we are exporting to 100 nations, including USA is one of the largest importer of defense equipment from India. And also, that currently the last FI it was 23,000 crores, and we are actually setting a target of 50,000. But this will happen before 2029. It can happen by 2027 also possible, the way it is going. So huge opportunity. And again I want to stress on the opportunity that 75% of this production is happening in the public sector. Whereas in the case of IT and mobile, I'm talking about the automobile, 100% in the private sector. That means here there is a huge opportunity. This 75% of pie you can take over. Startups and private sector can take over. Huge opportunity. And again, you see the world biggest arms exporters. Why I'm showing is you should see the kind of market which is waiting for you. You should be future ready, right? So here, India is nowhere there. We have not even reached 2%. So just think the kind of market waiting for you in defense technology. Huge market. And it's been monopolized by those nations which are there on top. And again, the first top 15 defense manufacturers in the world, you could see HAL and Bharat Electronics coming here. This is just because that share market their defense shares have increased in the last 1 year. Otherwise they were not in the picture at all. But we have reached here. Two firms are there, but we are nowhere there, and majority of them are aerospace sector. It's huge money there. So I'm showing you so that you can focus on this particular area. Again, a lot of initiatives have been taken by our central government. They have started defense parks across the nation. MSME clusters, the Codicea is one of them, in Coimbatore, and defense manufacturing corridors in Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh, tax holidays for defense, DRDO lab. DRDO labs are open to all now. If you have a formal, make a formal request, you are welcome. In good old days, because of security reasons, they will keep you out. They will not keep you send you inside. Now that has stopped. They will work with you. Those labs are available. That 42 labs are available with you. Anytime you can move in. And again, these challenges are there every year. I do help university students for doing this. Probably many times they have come first also. And now the government policy has changed. In good old days, if you manufacture any defense equipment or defense related hardware, you cannot export it. Now it has changed. You can export it to foreign nations. That means you can look at the foreign market and start producing items here. That's a big thing. Okay, and we are planning to stop all the imports by another 1 or 2 years. That means we will not be importing any defense equipments. So we'll have to produce it here itself. That's a big thing. Budgets have already crossed 7 lakh crores. And these are the corridors you can see, one in Tamil Nadu, one in Uttar Pradesh. And Ops Sindoor has really made a lot of difference, gentlemen. Like now, in fact, Armed Forces looking for startup. They don't want anything from, and DRDO also. They are now tying up with startups. They are now incorporating youngsters into their projects. So if you are good, you communicate with them, you are there almost. Nobody is stopping you from going ahead. And you did a lot of changes after Ops Sindoor. I mean, I just want to put it on record. Things are changing here. If you are missing this opportunity, it's a big miss. That should not happen actually. You look at, the budget is increased, another 40,000 immediate outlay, 1.05 lakh crore indigenous procurement, 52 satellites. This project was up to 2035. Now it is shortened up to 2029. And AMCA production on fast track. Private industries have been included. So again, the GDP wise, we are just 1.9% of defense expenditure. Now it is going to increase to 2.5. Okay. Now they are planning to sign almost 2 lakh crore project. 75% of defense outlay is going to be spent in the country. It is not going to go outside. So that money will be spent here. If you are getting connected with the defense ecosystem, you will get a part of that. So it's a big thing happening. Actually, we people are not aware about it. We should be aware about it first. You have to have interest in all these things, then we can pick up. And what is the difference between emerging? When I use the word emerging, I want to stress the difference between these two things. These mature technologies, the Western world is very smart, they already commercialized it. There's no room for you there. They're already selling you those products. So what we can focus is, let us focus on emerging technologies. So 5 to 10 years from now, we are at par with them. So let us focus on that. That's what we actually stress on that particular word, emerging technologies. And these are the few of them. I have just only listed few of them. What are the emerging technologies? And now I'll get into the core subject here. I'll start with the AI applications and all these things. We'll go through what is there in the industry. What are the kind of applications available to you? Because you should know the functionalities application. Then only you can think about it and start working on that. Okay. So AI application, this is one of the news which you might have seen. It was a big news for the entire world. How can India, such a backward country, is using AI ML for fighting a war? But it was the reality. It happened. Last month it happened. So we are not actually that kind of, we are almost there now. In fact, you can say we are leading actually. We have proven many of the systems. Now let us see one by one, where all we can actually fit in this AI first. Okay, we can get into cyber security in armed forces, military logistic management. I'm just going to read through. Transportation, battlefield, healthcare, combat simulation, training, the big thing there. Target identification recognition, one of the most important. Then threat monitoring, air defense and missile shield. You might have heard a lot about it. Battlefield planning, decision support systems, predictive maintenance, platform health monitoring. Then satellite-specific application, computer vision image analysis, autonomous weapon systems, NLP, biometric recognition, robotics for high-risk swarm, all these things we will see one by one. The last one is very important, gentlemen, algorithmic warfare. Great thing. Okay, we will discuss on that also. Now, let us start with the cyber. In good old days, see the defense armed forces, we have a captive network. It's a private network. It's not physically connected to your public network. So you have to deploy all these things. You have to see the user behavior mapping, and everything has to be automated, unsupervised, and batch-wise it should be continuous. So that's what the effort is there by the Ministry of Defense. Next one is A for military and logistics and transportation, this prediction. All these and different applications. I'm just putting a heading here, but these are the applications which, again, you can find a lot of application within that application. Okay, now you can see the prediction of spares, that if you have used this kind of spares, in this year, you can predict what is required for the next year, and you can procure it. So that means, I'm talking about, when I talk about, which I was involved in a project of the material requirement plan for aviation logistics in the Indian Navy. Around almost the inventory level is around 6 lakhs to 7 lakhs. 6 lakhs to 7 lakhs, almost 1 lakh is permanent items. Those many items you have to predict what is the future requirement of these spares and the logistics. So it's a huge task. It is not all that easy. So we can actually help the armed forces for that. Then efficient route for road transport, congestion avoidance, optimize pilots' times, cruise times, transporting multiple spares to same destination, same item to different location. Just-in-time logistics supply, medical aid resupply, and driverless transportation, all these things are there. Again, healthcare. See, for us, a soldier, health is very important, gentlemen. As such, every month we are losing our lives. We don't want to lose it further. Okay, so how can we ensure that you give that remote support to these soldiers at the border, or on the ship, or in the submarine? It's very important. Because we don't want to lose, we don't want to have a tragedy in the family of that particular soldier. So we have to give this a priority number one. And here we can do for medical imaging, it's already happening, virtual doctors expert system, drug administration expert system, predictive health risks and vital parameters, wounded soldiers' health. You can put sensors on the body of the soldiers and you can continuously monitoring how his health is and if something goes bad, you will get adequate warning. Okay, that is called mental health. Even mental health also can be monitored. Then emergency battlefield robotic surgery. The US has been doing this robotic surgery in the armed forces. We also will be doing it shortly. And battlefield casualty identification removal. How will you remove a battlefield casualty? What is a battlefield casualty? Around 20-30 soldiers who gone for a battle and out of 1 or 2 got injured. So, but the 1 or 2 injured, another 10 people have to get behind them to look after those 2 people. That means your strength level has come down from 30 to 20. So, but if you can rely on an autonomous vehicles, airlift or probably ground, you can remove the battle injured those soldiers at the earliest from the field, and the rest 28 chaps can continue the war. So this is actually, I've seen many students in many colleges started working on that, and software is very important for this. Depending on the terrain, how will you bring it back? Whether you want to take an aerial route or, so it's a good thing, hot thing, still if you want to really invest time onto that, you can do that. No one is completed that, and this is always a work in progress. You can always do that. And again, training, gentlemen, I'm telling you, heavy, if there is no war, what is the armed forces doing? Assume there is no war. They always do training. Training is something, which we always do. It's a part of our entire being in the army. Otherwise, you should have a war. So if war is not happening, we have training. So training is very important. And training is highly resource oriented. You have to invest a lot of time here. And you can see, all kind of situations can be simulated for games and save a lot of resources, time. The same is applicable for high value assets like submarines and ships. The moment you actually get into these simulators, you can say a lot of learning can be done in the beginning there itself. Otherwise, if you want to learn harbor entry with a warship, how many times you have to do practically? You have to burn a lot of fuel, a lot of efforts are required. So many things can be practiced on the simulators, and you can create situations which actually adverse situations where the pilot whomsoever is doing that, he can overcome all those things. So this kind of things can be simulated. So this is one of the major applications in armed forces. Another one is that synthetic and immersive training, basically for the war gaming. So I said, when there is no war, every other time the armed forces are preparing for the war. They are getting trained by themselves. In this particular scenario, all these war games can be, the professionalism which is there in the forces can be increased. You can actually create situations where how will you overcome that? So this is basically a kind of learning. The institutional knowledge which is there in the armed forces, the moment you retire it is taken. But having these systems, this institutional knowledge can be preserved in the system. That's what we are looking at. And that may have seen the Tom Cruise movie Top Gun Maverick, the way they are simulating through and through. I mean, the last time only, when you actually take the aircraft and go and hit the target which is there down below. But otherwise, how much amount and resources you can save it, how much professionalism you can improve if you bring in this kind of training into the pilot training area. Okay. Now, this is one of the most important. The next one is the AI for target recognition and classification. Okay, here what we do is basically we do the measurement and then we do target extraction, feature and we create a data model for that and also create a library of the, it could be anything, it could be optical or it could be radar signatures. So what we will do stage by we will recognize the target, we classify it and then we put it in our library and then we track it. So this is autonomous system of work in progress, means every other time when the new aircraft like F-35 has come, now 57 is there. So every aircraft which is there, we have to create the target signature and then store it in our system. So this is something, which is a continuous process, and I think there is a huge opportunity. Many of the firms are now working with this data you will not get from the service. If you can give the data to the service, by getting all this data, you will make a lot of money. Next one is defending our airspace. This is, the no-fly zone created during the Ops Sindoor. That means deliberately you have kept all the aircraft from this year, you have told Pakistan also, India also removed, so that, we can actually do the war here in this particular border area. And you can actually, so if something is moving here, you will define the threat for it. Is it a missile? Is it a fighter aircraft? Is it a normal military aircraft? And then accordingly, that opposite side will act accordingly. So when this no-fly zone is created, you basically you set the threat level and accordingly you can act. Okay. Now the Pakistan played dirty here also. What happened? They actually continued with the civil aircraft, commercial aircraft. So we could not hit that side. We are not sure whether it will go and hit the commercial aircraft. You're taking chances. Many people will die. So that is why this no-fly zone is created. But otherwise, when a war is broken, you create such zone so that if any kind of projectile which is moving in that particular space, that you can assign a threat level, and that will be done in autonomous way. AI will work on that. Okay. Next one is the most important thing which you might have seen. We've been discussing a lot about air defense system, autonomous shield, and all those things. So basically, what happens here? This is the enemy missile which is coming from the ground or from the aircraft. It comes halfway through. Your long acquisition radar will intercept it and it will pass on the latitude, longitude to this particular place, and they will launch the missile and it will intercept in between. It's a simple way of having a shield around, if you want to create a shield around Trivandrum. I think they have already created a shield around Sri Padmanabha temple. You can create such shield around that. Okay. And here, the basic idea is basically to protect any kind of intrusion. It can be from the space also. So what here, we actually mastered this particular thing using our AI autonomous AI engine and autonomous. India is now like, when I say that this gentleman who's a Lieutenant General guy, he said, during the press conference, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, if Tomo doesn't get it, Lily get it. So what I'm trying to tell is, currently we have a 5 to 6 merged layers. That means if something missed, the other guy will take over. So it's starting from S-400, which can take ballistic missile, which is coming from the outer space. We can have the smallest gun also. So this all together we worked and 1,000 projectiles were, that's what our PM said in the parliament. Around 1,000 projectiles have been launched from the Pakistan and none of them hit the target. So hats off this kind of system which is there, and they are now strengthening that. Okay, and this is where, it is all happening because there is a concerted effort with the startup industry from Bangalore and the army. Okay, majority of the things, they tested it there and they worked. So there is a huge opportunity for us here. And again, this is one area, AI-based. What we are looking at is, you can see the top of the plugging on vulnerabilities and exploiting enemy's vulnerability. So that's what the main thing. So assume that the blue is the own force and the enemy force. This particular analysis can be done and we can take decision support systems, AI-based systems, so that we can actually reconfirm the decision which you are going to take, whether you want to attack from this area or that area, whatever. So this kind of analysis can be done. This is one of the major application here. And again, you know, the autonomous health monitoring. A majority of these platforms are high life cycle. You remember the MiG which is there, it has flown for 60 years. Have you ever heard about one aircraft which is in its lifetime 50 to 60 years? It has flown. That is the kind of life cycle we have. MiG-21 I am talking about. It's going to be phased out in another 1 month's time. So they have a high life cycle, we cannot afford to lose. So we have to keep them in the operational state. Digital twinning karke, we can actually do predictive and prescriptive maintenance and keep it flying or anything for that matter. You can do it for the ships or you can do it for individual system by twinning it. So this is one area where, you know, there's a huge opportunity waiting for you. Another one, this is most important, lot of money, gentlemen, when it starts, na, like if you want to sell the border area between Cambodia and Vietnam, I think you can make a fortune out of it now. Because each one is asking for the same picture. What is the live picture which is available there? What is happening there? When we had to fight with Pakistan and the pictures which is there, you know, that was been, I mean, like same thing happened for when we had intrusion of China in Ladakh. So these pictures is, you know, two kind. One is online processing and offline. So this is something, you know, we actually relied on this Maxar technologies to get it from off late in the last month. But otherwise, this is many of the Indian companies are doing it now. And many of the foreign companies are employing Indian origin engineers for doing this. Then why can't you do it by yourself and sell it directly to the armed forces? You make your own company. I have seen one, I'm connected with one startup in Chennai. Those guys are now doing it by themselves. They are going to launch SAR satellites to space for doing this. So this is one of, I'm not lying actually, see the CAGR, it's almost 15%. Huge market. So image analysis, upscaling is one of the huge market. It could be offline or online production. I mean, data processing can be done. Autonomous army, what is this? Russians, you know, if you go to Russia, I've been to that places, the schools and all, you see only children, 2 children, 3 children. I mean, that is the kind of strength in each and every class. I mean, that population is not increased. They don't have anybody to look after them. Very precarious situation. What they're going to do, they're planning to have 30% robotic military by 2030. So this is not, I mean, this can happen to us also, maybe probably after 20 years. Because it is better to, you know, all the hostile jobs, it is better to rely upon these machines. Again, this computer vision, which we all know about this technology, but we've been restricting ourselves to the optic, but it can be extended to IR radar and thermal sensors. That's another opportunity. China has did it very good. I mean, in the sense, you know, they have so many millions of cameras kept. The moment you land up in Beijing, you know, they will start monitoring you if you're a foreigner. And if you make some haphazard movement during your shopping, he will trace you till you go out of China. And that all been done by AI engines. It's not, you know, no human being. Until you do a mischief, it will not. Even mischief also will be tracked by the AI. So this is something, you know, what they're planning to do is planning to cover the world in future. Those guys are amazing. They are going to put it into the satellites worldwide. Okay, so this is something, you know, which is very capable. I mean, we can actually really think about it, how we can actually be a part of this. Apart from the opto camera, we can think about other radar cameras also. Next one is Gen AI in defense. I made a very bold statement, we cannot fight a war to generate a data. Is it possible? It's not possible. It's not possible. So we have to generate data for testing, validation, and that is possible only by Gen AI. It's very much required, gentlemen. There is a huge opportunity here for you, and all target signature, image, video generation, synthetic, everything synthetic, you require it here. Then only you can go to the next level. And this NLP is also creating a lot of ripples there. We have automatic language translation that we actually fight with. I mean, when we do exercise with the Japanese Navy, I mean, language is a big problem here. So if you can do an automatic translation, nothing like that, and decoding enemy communications, you know, whatever bad thing they are talking about you, all those things can be decoded. Sentiment analysis, voice commands for hands-free, you know, many things in the cockpit. It has been designed like that. You can speak and get the things done. And then you can have automatic social media monitoring, prediction of soldiers' behavior, very important. The guys, especially the commando guys, you know, if they are actually Working haphazard means that mentally they are not stable, you can take them out. Chatbots for operational support. And biometric recognition, all know about it. We have been looking only for our thumb, but something beyond that for the redundancy. You have to see whether the eye scanners, voice recognition, facial, and create an enormous amount of database for authentication, because forces believe that an enemy within is very detrimental than an enemy outside. So you cannot afford to do that. So you have to be very clear about it. And AI-based self-protection systems, gentlemen, is one of the most important area where, any given time you can go and offer system to the armed forces with the existing, like your car getting upgraded with sensors. You can do that without any problem. So armed forces are looking for that, where, if something is coming, which is coming directed towards you, the system will automatically detect it and destroy it. You don't need to be worried about it. Because if you keep looking at who is going to attack, then your mission itself is not on focus. Understood? So this is something, it is very important and it's applicable to both aircraft and ships also. All these decoys, all these SHA flights, everything, all protection systems, it should work in autonomous manner. For all the platforms, Army, Navy, Air Force. So this is one area where we can actually look into. And this is another thing, gentlemen. What is this decoy or electronic decoy? Decoy is nothing but some mock. We can create, like my statue can be created and given it will become a mock. So you may think that I am standing there. Am I correct? So if you have an electronic decoy means what? Because majority of the system, when you appreciate the battlefield, you see electronically. You can't see around 10-20 kilometers. So you will be depending on our radars. Am I correct? So these e-decoys are something like that. Electronically you can actually, you can fool the enemy. You got the point? That is what? Stove. Can anybody tell me, how many of you believe that we have lost an aircraft during Sindoor? You can raise your hand. Huh? Have you lost any aircraft? Then two people, army people said, we lost the aircraft. Is it right or wrong? Do you think that Air Force will disclose this truth? Huh? If I fooled you, will I tell you in future I fooled you? No. Same thing. So I leave it to you. I am not an authority or person to tell whether I have lost the aircraft or not lost the aircraft. So that is what electronic warfare all about. You have to have an upper hand on that. It's a big domain. You can really play around a lot here if you start working on that. Okay. So here what they have done, it's this pilotless targeted aircraft. What they have done, they have launched plenty of them. Okay, and they were creating the radar signatures in the Pakistan radar as if they are, their MiG-29, Sukhoi and all those things. And they started firing and they got behind them. So during this background, the other actual aircraft, they fly low and they got penetrated and they did the job and came back. This is how the tactics work. So it is a very important thing to work around, the suppression of enemy defense and all those things by using this kind of techniques. And I am telling you sometimes they will tell they have lost the aircraft, sometimes they will tell we have not lost the aircraft. So it will remain. It is going to be a secret for, I don't know when they actually disclose the truth. Probably it will not. And government also will not, even if they know also. That's what it's all about. And the next one is, gentlemen, there's a paradigm shift in security systems of high value assets. Been doing it with sensors like radars, sonars, all these things, but there is a change in this. There's a transformation. We have to really pitch in. You can create a lot of security systems here. That's what I'm telling you. You can work around the data and you can start working on that. Okay, you can predict. Instead of waiting for a disaster to happen, you predict the disaster and tell the bloody, people that, please do something about it. And this is not only acceptable for the naval bases, army bases or air force bases. You can do it for nuclear installation, petroleum refineries, all these places you can do that. Okay. And I just give a break for 5 minutes so that, we can continue after that. If you allow me, ma'am. Okay, we'll have a small break because I don't want to, you just relax by yourself. And you can, if you have any questions, anything, you can ask me now. You take a break. Yeah, ma'am is asking about the logistics support. How is it working? Because the warehouses. There is one of the slides which is coming, ma'am. Logistics support actually happens from the warehouses which is there existing abroad. 70-75% of our assets are coming from abroad. Okay, so getting it like Russia and all, it is very difficult to get it connected. But now we have started an attempt by a blockchain technology. We are trying to track it, and then we want to bring that databases of different right from customs, everything, distributed database. It is confidential, but we have to really, like for Indian vendors, there's no problem. It is possible with Indian vendors, like if HAL and all, I can take your database and connect it with the Navy, and Navy's requirement can be given to. It is there, ma'am. If you can show the proof how it has been, different databases are working, and bring it in one umbrella by the blockchain technology, and tell them that, the guy who is actually doing the operational assignment, like me and all in the operational area, I plan for the sorties. Okay, if I don't know whether that particular aircraft is on the ground, it is not flying. So that spares to come airlift from Goa and just to come here, and whether it will come today night or not, it should be told to me. So if it is told to me, then I can assign that, but I know the timing required for fitting that. I can plan for, okay, this particular sortie I can send, operation can send 10 aircraft, or I can send 2 ships out for this particular. Those kind of planning is possible. Absolutely. So it is very important, the information which is there with the vendor who is supplying us the spares, who probably may be abroad or in Russia, will be able to make. That's what I've discussed about it. What is the future demand which you want, which can be told to the instantly in advance to that particular. Because the problem in, especially I'm giving the example of Russia. 60-70% of our hardwares are from Russia. The biggest problem is that Russia produced it. The numbers are very less. If the numbers are very less, they close down there. Last 2 years that particular factory is not working. So when I place the demand, when the government tell the RVs, that's the Russian representative, at that time they will open that factory and start working on. So just see the lead time. It's quite, so that is where, we have to, we should have an algorithm which actually spell what is the requirement of, future requirement of spares. Using the past consumption. Tell me. JIT is possible. It's possible, especially for all the fuels, Fuel, it's a third-party logistic. No, slowly we are coming. The new acquisition which is happening in this country, government prefer JIT. They don't want to carry the logistics. This is a unwanted, sometimes you over-procure. Sometimes you less procure it, and you don't have items which are there, it is not there only. When you want, it's not there. So that is a very important thing actually. Good question. Any other? Yeah, ask me.
So whenever you're selling any kind of defense product to the government, it is important that the product is indigenized, right? So what % of the product should be indigenous? Because it's not realistic to build any product which is 100%.
Good question. He is asking whether when we actually offer something to armed forces insist for 100%. Of course they will insist for 100% because already hands are burned. Now I tell you the practical examples. They have ordered for some 400-500 logistic transport. This actually happened some 3-4 months. Drones from some company. Later they came to know that the BLDC motors or something inside some Chinese components. They stopped that. They literally cancelled those orders. So they insist because we have already burned our hand many times. And Chinese components are really problem. Someone was telling that the solar panels which they've sold across the world can one day become null and void. It's possible. So probably it is better that you should have the visibility of your supply chain. And if it is from West or from Taiwan, acceptable. There is no issue. They know that they're doing it in the right spirit. But otherwise, so they insisted because many times we have errored it. We've had very bad experiences. So if they cannot repeat it.
Sir, does the government enforce like a minimum percentage of indigenization, or can we incorporate any kind of technology?
Somewhere you have to start. The problem is the very beginning itself you cannot reach that 100%. Very valid question. You cannot. If you, like if your ships also, the naval ships, we have now crossed 70, 75, 80. That means the weapon systems which is there, still we have not mastered it. So probably maybe another time, if you are reaching anything above 80, 85%, you can say it is an indigenous product. Because nowhere in the world we can have achieved that 100% or even 90%.
Yeah.
Even Europeans and the West also, they actually help each other and they exchange the hardware and all those things. So if you are reaching around 80, 85%, that is a good indigenization because that is okay. And always see that you are not procuring from your enemy because at the time of requirement, you will not get it if you want something. Anything else? Thanks. Yeah, you want to ask? Yeah, please.
So as you know, for developing any kind of product, testing is very important. So what are the facilities for testing products in India?
Very good question. I appreciate him. He is asking about where to do the testing and validation. Am I correct? Yes. Of the products which are developing over a period of time. So what I would rather request, I don't know whether it will happen or not. In case if I've been told to look into this particular aspect, what we will be offering, you'll have to do some projects on defense immediately after. After this, we'll have some courses and start doing projects. That projects are very important. You have to have an interest of doing a defense project. So once you start doing the projects, then you will come, at some stage you will come, where you have to get the expertise from the DRDO or the labs. So we will connect you up to those agencies formally. And then you will go there, you will work with those scientists, they will give you information. They will in fact guide you. What more you want? No scientist, ma'am, can be stopped now. If the students are asking for any help from any DRDO firm, they cannot stop in the name of the security point of. We can formally, any labs. We have few labs here, NPOL, DRDO lab here, and few here. So we will make formal communication with them. They will give you a red carpet welcome there. You work there with them. And academic degree is one part of it. You can continue with that. Okay, so mentally you should think, the very first year itself you land up here, tell your youngsters, juniors who are coming, you should start working on a project. That's what Western countries students do. Academic degree of BTech is a part of that. That is secondary. So the project should continue and everyone should come up with a startup. That's what we should look at it. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Is it possible for facility like us, the research parks, to be hosting any such laboratories in collaboration with DRDO and?
Very much, ma'am. Very much. We will. All we have to do is basically we can make a formal request depending on the lab and like NPOL is basically they are mastered in sonar, sound, underwater, tactics and communication weapon systems. So if that specific some projects or people are there, then we can call them and request them to give a session, or we can send our people there for that expertise. It will be more convenient that we send
set up similar facilities for testing at least.
They have they have underwater tanks available in NPOL, Kakanad, in Cochin.
Okay.
So if you want to do any kind of experimentations, all those things, they will provide you that you can do that, those tanks. I think many people across the Tamil Nadu and Bangalore come to Kochi to do this project. This is one example I am talking about. If you want to work on the wind tunnel, then you have to go to HL or anything, any DRDO labs in Bangalore. Everywhere we can make it. Earlier, these people stop you telling about the security aspects. Now it is not happening. I say again, ma'am. You can bring anything.
Also like some simulation environment which can be accessed remotely for students to work on.
Absolutely, ma'am. First and foremost, you have to know the requirement from the other side.
Okay.
It is not that we create and we put our man hours and one more important thing, sir, which I tell you.
It happens the other way around. Like we engage in 10 projects and we see a common facility that we require, and then we can try setting that.
That's also perfect. The biggest problem with all the colleges here, 95% of the projects which is done by the student, the moment he passed out from the college, sad to say, ma'am, it becomes shelved, which should not happen. I've been telling in Shastra University, ma'am, each and every project should become a vertical. That means if anyone has done a project on certain aspect, and when that senior batch is leaving, automatically the junior batch will take over and will work on that.
Yeah.
So if you continue like this, no ma'am, underwater vehicles, I will be discussing all those. Everything you will become a center of excellence. I'm telling you 10 years. If you make this continuity, it's the same thing, like, you keep changing staff every other time, na? Because of other problems or opportunity outside. Many of the colleges, the staffs keep going and moving out. But if you retain them, I've seen, I don't want to mention the colleges here right in front of me. If you retain them, starting with good salary and all, they will remain there. The moment there, the continuity happens. Majority of the projects have been headed by the faculty. When the IDEX project is there, IDEX project is steered by the faculty, been done by the students, helping them. But that staff of the college, the assistant professors are responsible for the IDEX or Dare to Dream projects which has been given by the DRDO. So they are taking it very seriously. To be honest, I am talking about Shastra. So I do go there and do the hackathon there. Sometimes staff is actually presenting it to me. Staff and the entire students. So I then nail them there, where the problems are, the design problems or whatever. They have to redo the things. So I think here the staff should take the lead. It's not just everything you put on the students. They have to, no, because the continuity is something very important. Once you start a project, never stop the project. If we are starting a project on underwater vehicles tomorrow here, that is going to be a center of excellence in another 10 years. That is the kind of target you have to set. And you have to assign an assistant professor for that. So all the projects which is associated with will come in that particular, the moment the third years and final years, when they are progressing the project, they will actually add the first years and second years into this project in the beginning. So they will get an idea. The moment these guys out, they will continue. So the project will never die. People, and after they leaving the college also, they can come back and contribute that. We don't have this setup here. That's what we are. IIT is doing the same thing. That's why they could, You're talking about, that turnover of that particular research park in Chennai is 6,000 crores. Am I correct? So where are we now? We don't even 1 or 2 crores. We reached miles ahead of us. And this Shastra is somewhere around 50 crores because I went there they have a product launching every 6 months. When I went there, I've been around 10 products they launched it. Proper type, onto the market, the product launching. That's what is happening that side. So we have to step by step slowly. Creating the interest in the students is the first thing we have to do. That is the most important. They should come up. The moment that happens, they will do the projects. You have to just monitor them, guide them and... Any other questions, please? Yeah.
So what is the process of procurement for various defense products? Do you have any idea?
Loudly, I'm not.
What is the process for procurement of various defense products?
Procurement of defense products by the defense?
Yeah, what will the process look like?
Yeah, it is a very valid question, sir. See, we have the traditional, can you close this door, please? I'm getting a lot of noise. Just close it. See, the actual process of having one hardware for the armed forces is basically, in good old days, this needs to be changed. I'm talking about a very important aspect here. They will set the quality requirements. They will list it, QR. And then they give it to DRD or anybody, you make it like this. When you go there, again, the guy who has given the QR, it's a moving population. He would have changed, someone else would have been sitting there. He will give something more on to that. So finally, between them it goes on. But instead of that, now the entire scenario is changing. You started thinking like a defense personnel. You design the product. You do everything and then put it in front of me. Take it. That's what is happening now. All these startups are started thinking like the defense people. They're making and developing the project and then showing to them. When they see it, they cannot deny it. Because it's doing the job. It's doing the function. So don't wait for them to tell you what they want. You find out what they want, develop them and give it to them. This mindset should be changed. This is what? Exactly. Don't wait for them to come and give the quality requirements. I want something like this is what my specifications.
See, another question is
Yes, ma'am.
with respect to the software systems that you were talking about. Do you have an enterprise system which keeps on adding the smaller functionality to it, or will it be new systems that are coming in?
Ma'am, armed forces is quite vast and large. Okay. You have Navy, Army, Air Force.
Okay.
They were all working in silos, honest with you. first time jointness has happened during the Ops Sindoor, and jointness has started happening in the last 5 years. Now when we come to your specific questions, because I'm not talking about the radar signatures, keeping a data on radar signatures. Okay, we have one agency is Navy, one in Air Force, and these three people keep changing the data. The moment if I get a data about a new Chinese aircraft, I will share it with the Air Force, I will share with the... So those departments, they have now started doing. So that is happening, that particular data part of it, like a sonar data or electromagnetic wave, opto, that kind of sharing, and there are specific agencies in each armed forces. The problem is this data will not be given to you because of the security reasons. Because obviously they cannot share with the details. This not only of the Indian aircraft or Indian platform, they have the data of the foreign platform also. So it is kept in confidential. But since you don't have the data, that is where you go for the synthetic generation. So starting with the opto, or if you can generate, there are quite a similar aircraft can create a similar kind of, so you can create a software by seeing the feature of the aircraft, you can create a signature for that, something like that. That is what generate AI all about. So how far, and this can be validated by giving to, they will validate and give it to you. Once you create a fake signatures of F-16, you can go to Air Force and Navy, I have created this, if you say or not. They may not formally say yes, but they may tell you it's almost near. So then you can use it for testing and validation for all your, this is the way ahead. You have to really, probably you may have to have an agreement with them, that NDC, non-disclosure agreement, you will be part of that, Then all those legal aspects also will be, you will be part of the system. That has happened with many, I don't know, around 5,000 NDAs already been signed with the armed forces nowadays.
And these AI/ML systems also will have to have data for learning, right? That also comes from...
That is where, it's the biggest thing. You
training
can't
data.
ask the data for armed forces to give me data. So they can, this is the catch-22 situation, ma'am. That is where, that's why I stressed upon. They can help you. The problem is, when you are armed forces, when you are wearing the uniform, they will have to get pension and go now one day. So they will not risk there. That is where we play major role, man. We don't have such kind of inhibition. We know where we have to draw the line, what to be told, what not to be told. In their cases, sometimes they speak like that, and that will create problem for their career. So they always play safe. But everything can be done formally, either with the DRDO lab, and they will take it seriously. Probably NDA clause you have to sign and do it. Can we start? Yeah.
Sir, as per your knowledge, is India using any kind of acoustic-based weapon or laser-based weapons in warfare?
Acoustic or laser? You ask me one. Which one?
Any of these in action in India's warfare?
Acoustic was always with all these torpedoes. Hell a lot of torpedoes. Indigenously we have torpedoes with us. Torpedoes are nothing but underwater missiles. Okay. We've been using it extensively. It's a part of it, because anti-submarine warfare is very important, because that is very much part of it. And next one you talked about what?
Laser weapon.
Laser is there. I am discussing it there. Very much there. Laser is very much part of our portfolio. Very important. Okay. And DRDO is now giving that technology to private companies and other firms to develop systems. I think we should have it here, I'll tell you. Shall I start? Okay, welcome back, students. We'll break. Our break is no more now. We'll let us start now. And next one, which is very quite interesting, which when you go to every campus, you see always these students come to me, sir, I made this, I made that, and all. Nothing but you can have an autonomous weapon platform. It could be a UAV, okay, flying one, or it could be floating on the sea, or then you can be underwater vehicles, or a ground vehicles, or even satellites. Now cube satellites. You can see in schools, children are making cube satellites. It's very easy. Kits are available. You can assemble it here. First time, Next time you can start working on the indigenous part of it. So cube satellites you should have. You should have a satellite lab here, possible. And these are the autonomous weapon platforms where you have been used by the military. And you see this market here. Have you seen anything with CAGR 40%? This is what the market of underwater autonomous vehicles. It's not, it is there on the net, you can check. I'm not giving a wrong information here. This is the kind of market which I'm talking about. That means the moment if you start working on an underwater vehicle here, you are there another 10 years. You will make a fortune out of it. With that kind of market is there. And you see, I'm not, this red color ke niche that gray color, na? That is military. That means 80-90% of this market is coming from the military. See, we have lost life of our divers many a times. We don't want to again lose it further in the future. So all kind of complex, hostile, I'm talking about the missions which is there underwater. I would prefer to go for autonomous vehicles. And there is a company called IRO you can check in the net, is there in Cochin. That guy is making a hell lot of money now. He's now started giving to commercial and civil establishment also, apart from Navy. Next one, these are the applications, which is not actually, you will ask, what should I do with my underwater? These are the applications available. You can go you can prove all these things, Navigation, oceanographic research, ASW, all these are application associated with so if you are sure with your platform, if it is comfortable, you can start working on that for all these applications. DRDO is now reached up to 20 tons submarine, It's working fine now, it's autonomous. The beauty is the moment, you make this particular vehicle autonomous, it will shrink. See, if we 20 guys or 50 guys want to stay inside a submarine, that means space has to be created inside a submarine. So that means your stealth characteristics are going on. It is always better to be small and lethal. Okay, so probably I would say maybe 20 years, 30 years from now, you will not have a manned submarine, we will only have autonomous submarine. There is no doubt about it. Okay. Next one, let us take the surface vehicles. This again is CAGR of almost 11%. It's again best suited for startup. Okay, I am talking about the surface vessels. And many firms are doing this. Sargar Defense is already working with Indian Navy. All these are small modular platform. That means if you are sure with your platform, you can change your sensors on top. Your functionalities can be changed. So this is another area. You almost, these many applications you can think about it. Next one, ground vehicles. The army is behind you. Anything you make it and start showing all this. This army command is there in Trivandrum. You can bring them. They are very close to you. They will tell you whole lot of applications. Okay, and you see that military and defense is 73% of the pie. So where are we looking at it? No civilians or commercial establishments. The military wants this. Okay, this is another area. The CAGR is almost 15%. This is doubling in 6 years. Huge market. The next one, again, these are the applications which are possible. If you talk to any army officers here, they will tell you all these are applications. So the moment you start the project, we will link it with them. They will come and help you out for free. So what I am trying to tell you is all these are the applications which you can actually deploy into and all hostile and monotonous missions can be covered here. That's what. Next one is, this is a Tata fintech company, and they've said, the domestic aerial drone market is going to touch somewhere around this many crores here. 250,000, nearly 2 lakh by 2030. CAGR 35. Okay, in the next 5 years. That's the kind of growth. Okay, so gentlemen, what I'm trying to tell, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to tell is, please don't ask for job after coming out of the college. Okay, create job. That's the best thing you can do. And you will not get job. Things are little difficult outside now. People are losing their job. So we are talking about serious business here. You have to go for startups. And again, when I talk about UAV applications, we only think about the marriage functions where, one drone is flying there and, taking the photograph, or probably an agricultural. Sorry, your 70% of applications are military. You are not aware about it. So you are all sleeping, or the youngsters who are doing, they should switch to military applications. Okay, the market is there, money is there. not the Chinese toy which you get in Amazon, it is for 10,000 bucks. That is a toy for your brothers. You start working on military stuff. Money is there. That's what is happening now. Many of the startup which is there in Bangalore and Bits Pilani also just 2 days back or 1 month back there was a news that youngsters have done it. Now these are the military applications. You ask me, in civil application what is there? Your marriage photograph and something else, agricultural. So I can give you this much. Army, Navy, Air Force, all are waiting for you. If you can do this and give it to them. They will insist for indigenization, obviously. Or you will source it from Taiwan or from the West countries. It's possible. So these many applications are possible. It's the best suited for that. Think about it. Next one is autonomous robots. Every hostile missions, or hazardous missions. They have lost enough of life, gentlemen, and it is still we are losing life. Many times, it happens. We want to deploy these machines there. We want to make it totally autonomous machines, both for water, above water, everywhere. Especially when you actually play around with explosives and mines. And if you want to really penetrate the enemy, I would prefer to send a drone rather than my fighter jet. Because if it is getting killed, then it will be a problem for loss of life. And again, all the weapons, that before, they never had intelligence. Now all my weapons are now, I am planting intelligence. It's all autonomous now. Weapons have changed. Everywhere I am talking about all the missiles, underwater torpedoes, bombs, everything. You can in fact give the lat lock position to these weapons and drop them. It will go to exactly to that lat lock and it will explode there. So things are changing. Every weapon is an autonomous weapon now. And again, connected soldiers, the concept of IoT, I am talking about IoT, can be extended IoBT or IoMT. Here, there are two types of sensors, medical sensors and operational sensors. Okay, so this medical sensor is basically to take the parameters of that you see in the next slide, but operational sensor means you all load of your computer, everything. So what happens is you will get a online feedback what is happening to that particular soldiers, and you can also direct and control that particular soldiers to whatever you want. So it's quite interesting. Every soldier and whosoever is there in that particular field, you are connected with him. You know what is happening to that guy. The same thing that the equipments which are there in your video cam, in your house, your fridges, your washing machine, your solar panel, everything is connected nowadays. So like that way, I will have accountability here by doing this. And these are the medical sensors, and what all body parameters you can see. That means if I send some 20 guys for a commando operations, I can call few of them. If they are not having any problem in their mental balance, I can call them back. Okay, so it's a critical missions and all. Basically in space also you can use the same approach. And for the pilots also. Pilots, they have to do the medical every time before they fly. So if they are not medically fit, they will not be allowed to fly. They will lose life and asset. So this is one area which we can, and this some colleague officer has asked, what are the laser? These are the applications. Use cases, readily available startup. DRDO is willing to give you technology. They are sharing to give you everything. You start producing it, work with them. So many of them. The most important thing which your associate professor has asked me is the direct energy weapons. What is that? All your kinetic weapons, guns and all those things are going to now stop. You are going to shoot with the high energy lasers in future. Okay, all your guns, your big stuff which is in the space, you can deploy this. And DRDO has already developed this technology. They are likely, they are ready to part this technology with the students. So you can work on this. Non-lethal, non-kinetic weapons. And your anti-drone guns are like that way only. Okay, next one is hypersonic glide. What is this hypersonic missiles? Hypersonic missiles something, which is basically below, almost 5+ Mach speed, and these are the 4 nations have done it. Okay, DRDO is collaborating now. What is the main difference between, you just come to this picture here, there are 2 types of missile I am going to discuss it here. 3 types in fact. This is the ballistic missiles, which is this red colored one. When it goes up, it goes to outer space and it comes back. So this kind of missile is called ballistic missile. Whereas the cruise missile is something which is, it's touching the ground and it fly very low and it goes to the target. Okay. And towards the end of the target makes a zigzag movement and then hit it. So to avoid the enemy touching it. Then the third one is a breed of that is called the hypersonic glide, boost glide. So this is where now DRDO is now collaborating with a startup. Okay. where this particular target cannot be predictable by the enemy. So you are putting some trajectory algorithms where you are not able to track that target. Sometimes you overshoot your target and come back and hit the target, fooling the enemy. That kind of thing is also possible. So this is a very interesting area, and the new one which is coming, that big daddy of BrahMos, is 8 Mach and 11,000 kilometers. This guy is something like that. He can do a bunker buster of almost this big, explosive. It can penetrate down to 100 meters also, I've been told. So it's a big bloody missile. This missile also, the algorithm which is there, this particular algorithm, they are working with the startup. So an unpredictable algorithm. You will not never repeat. The path which is flown by one missile will not be repeated by the next missile. So the problem is the enemy will not be able to predict. See, if your projectile is known to the enemy, then only he can intersect you now. And this particular chap, if BrahMos takes 7 minutes to reach the Afghan border, this guy will reach in 2 to 3 minutes. So that means once you have launched this guy, it's finished, 100% finished. It's that kind of stuff. So it's got that, what I'm trying to tell is that algorithm which is there, glide slope trajectory algorithm, that has been designed by a startup company. And underwater spoofing. Spoofing is basically fooling your enemy. It can be done, you can make huge speakers of, making the same sound of your submarine, keep it under the water, fool your enemy. So you bring some 10 speakers which is making the same sound of your submarine. Please keep these speakers under the water in the front of Karachi harbor. They will think that Indian submarines are there. This is how fooling. I mean, I've already discussed how we fooled in the air domain. The same stuff is available here. This is a lot of companies are looking into this for startup in this particular area. Okay, so that means you're going to, instead of electromagnetic, you're going to work in the sonar spectrum, sound. Again, maglev, we all know about hyperloop technology. Here again, the last 3 things. Aircraft, drones can be launched from maglev. Okay, you can start working with a small laboratory here in this college. And your space launch systems are supposed, ballistics, rail guns are coming in. Well, the recoil is very, very fast and smooth and fast for railgun system, maglev. So magnetic levitation is one of the best technology you can work for the startup here. Smart gentlemen, this is one of the most important. For every mission, the uniform is different. You cannot wear the same uniform for a different mission. Okay. And every mission, it's different. For army, it is different. It is for mounted soldiers, different. It's a ground soldier, it is different. It's air soldier, it is different. So all this, I'm talking about this, so many startups are working with all the armed forces. They are now actually, all your sensors are getting integrated to your uniform. Okay, so this is a huge opportunity. All your wares, eyewear, textiles, keychains, tattoos, even tattoos also, smart wearables, everything is getting integrated. So this is another area where we can really think about it. And there is one firm in Kochi itself supplying such uniform to army, I believe. So they are doing fine. A lot of orders for them. And now again, so if you look at it in a smart uniform, this is an exoskeleton to strengthen your muscles. Okay, half of the job will be done. So will be done the leg brace to convert your movement to energy, armor to protect you, solar panels, helmet, head-up display, biosensors, everything. Huge opportunity for startup. Anywhere you can catch up and create a project out of it. What I'm trying to do is the same thing, you can always look for a market outside also, in commercial domain or civil domain also. It's not that you created some kind of technology, you can take a patent. You don't confine yourself to armed forces. You can export also. If you make a lot of effort and if you created an exoskeleton which keep you walking 24 hours or 48 hours, absolutely without falling, the same thing you can sell it to some other armed forces in Africa or Southeast Asia. Very much possible. If Indian army is not taken, so be it. You can sell it somewhere else. So this is a huge opportunity here, all these things. And again, jetpacks which has happened, armed forces already placed the order for this. This is basically the same, the UK guy invented it, now many people are parallelly doing it. So you can also think about it. And the same thing for underwater movement for the divers, because divers, it is very difficult for them. If you can get an assistance like this, it's easy to move under the water and do the mission and come back. Okay, and origami design tools, basically this is a paper folding technique of the Japanese, but there are software tools available in this particular domain. What you can do is basically you are actually working on the space. So I'll make you this concept clear by the next slide. It is something like this. Can you understand that? See, space comes at a premium. So if there is a space, you have to put maximum into that space. So you have to create, especially your mechanical engineers, you have to design your stuff accordingly. It's a very important thing. Everything which is to do with, like, I still remember in my ship, which a very small space is a Russian ship. Small space, they will not allow, they put a gun there. Every space is coming at a premium. So we have to design accordingly. When I talk about it, all these things, whenever you design it, you should design. Like in case a revolver is becoming like a smart mobile in your pocket. Okay, you can see this chair and a bag. You can see your tent also. The gun also can be. So all these things have to be designed like that. That is specific to armed forces. I mean, like your Swiss military bag, which is available in Amazon, is a classical example for that. Every product, they make it like that way. They started from Second World War. And the same thing for all your deck-bound systems. Because when you talk about submarines and ships, space is a premium. You have to put more. Like, all the aircraft, you fold your wings like this. There is no space there. So you have to do like that. So when you design your structure, it has to be designed in such a manner. Okay. And biomimetics, you can see the B-2 bomber, just used it on top of Iran. The shape is almost like this, insect drone, body armors. I mean, half of the things are available in the nature, duplicate it. It's no doubt about it. And twinning of assets, you can create a real space from create a virtual space and see how things are moving. A huge opportunity here. I mean, many of the systems can't do for the full platform, systems can be done one by one. Okay, this has become a blessing. In Navy, it's around 14 aircrafts which has been imported from 14 different places. I still remember when I was there in service. So this, the problem is basically when you actually want a spare, it is not available. At that time, there was no 3D print, but it is now available now. The material, if you are aware about it, you can create the same spare in this country. You don't need to go back to the original equipment manufacturer to get that particular item. It is available. So this has become a really blessing. And many companies are doing this in Bangalore and selling it to armed forces. So if you're really looking for a production center with your 3D platforms, you can think about it. I've seen, I don't want to mention that there's one particular 50 different types of 3D printers, including your, your culture. I mean, I'm talking about the human structures also. Your muscle structures also been cultured here. That's possible. And this is already happening. Okay, your rocket structures or missile structures, you can make 3D printing here. It's very easy. Again, all the entire aviation industry, which what has happened to our aviation industry is minus 10 years when you compare with the foreign nations. Because I don't know why it has happened, but that is what is the reality about it. So don't think that it is something bad has happened. Here is an opportunity for you. You guys are very fortunate. In my time it was not, but your time it is there now. So grab this opportunity, okay? And this is already happening, gentlemen. 3D printed boats, small hulls, all these things are happening. And even we started doing for submarine also, huge submarine. It takes, 80% time saved. It takes 6 months otherwise to produce. They can do it in the days. Some 10, 15 to 20 days they can create the entire hull. So how fast? Then missiles also, how fast they can, rocket. Already done by a private firm in a startup in Chennai. They've created that rocket structure and this thing, by using 3D printing. It's possible. And UK Navy has gone further ahead. They fitted this, always dissolvable drones also they've done it, So these are very small structures, very, very small one. And they've done extremely well. Put the sensors and then send it to across the nation. So it can be used like that, SysG is something which we see. Here the problem in the armed forces, we need high resolution applications and high density transmission speed. We can't compromise on the images. So this is one area where we have to really catch up. Last mile connectivity is always a difficult thing because there again encryption, decryption difficulties are there. So one area there you can really work on, they're doing it with the quantum communication. This is something which this ma'am has asked some time back, how you can, ensure connectivity between the warehouses where the defense manufacturer is sitting here and you have the consumer here. So you can see all these databases, it's all different stakeholders. Okay, so logistic customer is here, then probably customs, main warehouse, seller, all these people are there in between. So it is basically you have to integrate, put it under one umbrella, and where you have to have an integration. That is the way out. So this armed forces are achieving for the domestic suppliers or domestic manufacturers. Foreign, the moment you sign the contract, you think about something like that, because otherwise he will not allow you to see what he is having, or it is incorrect from our side to tell them which aircraft is down. That's the biggest problem. If I require certain parts, he knows that this aircraft is down. So that is actually you are exposing it. So there is a lot of limitations here. You have to really break it up. I don't know how it has to be done. Probably it may not. And swarm drones we have been seeing, gentlemen, this has been done by the youngsters here in Delhi and all IIT. So this kind of stuff we can, do it for the entire military elements, coordination between the military elements, That means I am aware about my peer, what he is doing and where he exactly, lat-lock position. So each and every element in the battlefield is aware about the other people. That's what it's all about. That swarm kind of software works like that. And anti-drone systems can be done. Drone detection is one part and another one is the drone mitigations. Okay, this will happen first and this will happen later. So this is I don't know, so many startup companies, one company is associated with me, he is there in Gujarat, now he's just started like that 3-4 years. Now he's supplying equipments to army. So this is one thing which you can really think. Here again the high energy microwave laser is also coming. The best suited for startup, you can start with either you can start with the drone detection and then you go forward. Here you can have audio sensors, optical, or all domains covered. Graphene, we have ignored it for a long time. The last 3 is very important. If you have now for the sensor integration, energy storage and aviation, we have found it very, very good. So this is something, you should have a graphene lab here and start working on this. Best suited for staff. And there is one graphene center in our Palghat defense. There is, it is there, Palghat. So I've been to that place. So they are looking for, in fact, if anybody is interested in that project, you can get connected with the defense conclave, the enclave there is in Palghat. Wing and ground, this we have forgotten about it. The Russians invented it. And IIT Chennai reinvented it. Now Navy is placing order on them. That means Calcutta to Chennai, you can do it in 3 hours here. You can go to Gulf in the same. So that guys are having ambitious projects. Within 2 years, they will be doing passage. So why not you become a competitor for him here? Why he is keeping that monopoly? It's a simple, you can do it on waters here. Okay, these are things which we can think about it. And this is another one. Billions and billions of dollars have been spent by the US, for F-35 technology, the stealth technology. By the moment we invented that VHF radar, it has become redundant now. You see, you can still find a stealth aircraft. So this is something great. The radar size is huge and bigger. It's a multi-static radars. You can have it at different transmitters at different places. So this is one area you can really think about it. Okay. And again, photonics come back now. All the components which are there in radar, Russians have invented. Now we also into this. DRD is also working that. So this is one area we can really make a excellence here, where the entire internal components will work on light rather than electromagnetic signals or electrical signals. Light will replace electrical signals. This is something which has worked with first time. It has happened with the laser. You can detect underwater. It's good, but not much distance. Maybe probably some 3-4 kilometers. And again, the Chinese are going ahead. You're talking about invisibility suit. Why not you? Start working on this. Okay. That means your soldiers will remain stealth. They will not be able to see outside. If you're standing there also, you will not be able to see. Okay, this is happening. And again, gentlemen, future, I'm talking about. No, we have to team up with the machine. It's a very important thing. Men cannot win the war. It's a man-machine combination here, where you can see that, all laborious and hazardous tasks, and wherever high volume data processing, without machine, men cannot do that. That's what it's all about. Now, this is the most important thing. Before concluding, I'll be coming to this algorithmic warfare, which is something, nation with, it's a big statement, nation with better algorithm wins the war. That means you guys can sit and watch your TV, your algorithm will fight with the algorithm of the other nation, whomsoever is a better guy, he wins the war. That's what we are heading at. The algorithmic warfare started by the Israelis for the first time, and it happened, they have algorithms like Alchemist, Gospel and Depth of Wisdom. They combinedly gives a protection to their small space. But it is failed. Iron Dome failed twice, 7th October and 15th June during the Hamas attacks. But currently they are working on the algorithm. Because every failure is a learning for them. So algorithm will have to rewrite. It's a work in progress always. So this is something, I'm talking about the algorithmic warfare. This is the next generation warfare we are talking about. And the challenges to us, I'm concluding here. We have to need to bridge the gap between academia and defense, ma'am. We have to introduce courses, sessions in the university colleges, a large pool of defense veterans available for support, especially in a place like Trivandrum. I've seen many of those people there. So they have the domain expertise available. I'm also networked with them. We can bring them here. Funding is something which was not happening. The government fund was also not, it was going only to DRDO. We have to ensure that, the government funding come to the private sector and the startups. And this is very important, ma'am, the second last bullet. That means you require patience. If you can turn around money in 2 to 3 years for a private project, a defense project, it will take minimum 5 to 5+ years. So that patience should be there. That break even I'm talking about. Okay, and you have to export the stuff here. There's no point in keeping it in India. You have to look for the market. So that is a roadmap which is available to us. Okay, first you be aware about the opportunities which I've discussed today. We can have some workshops and courses. We can have a hackathon. That's what I want the TrEST to have it here. Let us have a hackathon here for the entire Trivandrum area. And before that, I can list the projects to you. I can list around 100 projects which you can choose one and come up with for a hackathon. Then we can identify agency and veteran mentors who can actually get linked with you. Later we can think about R&D funding and pitch deck, prototyping, marketing, export, and diversify a project. This is the roadmap available for each of you. Okay, so very important. We will have all these things step by step. We have reached the first one, basically aware about the opportunities it's available here. That is the most important thing. And as agency, we have this is a trust, non-profit, not-for-profit trust. We are on 4 universities already MOU. We are not able to increase it because we are not able to handle it. So slowly by slowly, we'll IIT Chennai, we are in touch with. We do a lot of sessions there. And we do a credit basis open elective subject with Shastra also. And Pan India, we conduct workshops and projects and courses. And this is what I request TrEST to think about it. We can go only step by step. We cannot happen just like that. We can have workshop first, later we can have courses here, 10-hour courses each year. So that all these domains, it's all different courses, curated as per what is there happening in the industry. And if you combine this, 2 of them, it becomes an ad hoc course. Or combine 3 or 4, it becomes a 3 or 2 credit open elective. So how the KTU want to do it or the autonomous college want to do it, it's up to them. It's up to them. So that's it. Thank you very much. So session is open for questions. Please ask me questions. Yes.
Sir, you talked about automated decision-making systems and automated warfare. So is there a possibility for replacing military leaders with computers?
Yes. Absolutely right. That is what is happening now. Because there's something called institutional knowledge. Like I carried a lot of knowledge and I learned a lot when I was there in service. I created my expertise. There was no system at that time I could hand over my expertise. Probably to my juniors, I've told them verbally. But systemically, I have not happened that. So it means the kind of decision I used to take with my kind of experience may not be taken by an amateur. So we should have an institutional database system which should carry this kind of expertise within the system itself. So this is something a very relevant question. So what happens is that when the decision support system, if I am not there, my system is giving same kind of decision. So I am not so important for the, so I have moved out of the service. Then new youngsters will come. So they can actually see my, so probably as of now, maybe in future, the decisions will be finally taken by the military commanders. There is no doubt about it. Okay. But the decision which is taken can be assisted by the DSS systems. The support system will support him. He can actually introspect and see whether he is taking the right decision or not. Because system will be like if you do a battlefield analysis, he would have taken a decision to attack with the navy first and then put in the army from that side or whatever. And he can take a decision, he can take the assistance of the systems and see whether that particular decision will be good or not. So it is very much there, and but I think full autonomy is something which is impossible, because if that is given, the machines will take over, and that particular time, who will be responsible in case of a misfire? That is the biggest problem. Will someone will stand? No. So maybe the last word will be kept with the military commanders. I mean, probably he may be assisted with the AI or the machines.
Thank you, sir.
Hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir, you did.
Yeah. Any more questions?
Sir, so my question is, I'm currently doing my minors in UAV technologies.
Okay.
So, is there any internship opportunities for us to know more about this field and to work in that field?
I would say rather your internship will straight away start a project.
Oh, okay. No, sir, to know more information about that. Where will
No,
we be
see,
able to-
I've listed here, I mean, see, I can give you projects. A lot of applications have been listed here. So you have to do a little bit of R&D and then find out the niche area where we can cooperate with the existing ecosystem. That's what you're looking at it. Okay. Now, in the drone itself, there's a lot of specialization, subspecialization within that. So it all depends where you want to focus, whether on the avionics side, electronic side, or in the design side. Okay, so that needs to be done first. Then we have to see where we have to really focus on, where the requirement is available. I mean, requirement is there. So that, I think more of research is required in the beginning, where I have to start and pitching in your, and you have to start the projects here. I mean, like, learning and all will happen when you actually do the project. Don't wait for someone to come and teach me, oh, gone. The very first year when you come to such a profession, you decide that you are going to do something and start doing it. Engineering degree parallelly will happen. That don't worry about it. That will not fetch you anywhere. Okay, you get good marks and marks. Things are very difficult outside. I'll be very honest with you. I am a soldier. I don't mind telling you the fact, because I've been seeing in the many places, many of the people have been laid off. So what I'm trying to tell is, unless you start working on certain projects, make a small group here. In your class itself, some too light-minded, but multidiscipline. And start working on the first year or second year onwards, or wherever you are there now. Start from today also. Start working on certain projects, and then, try to know where the gap is there. Do a research. Where actually there is a requirement is there, and then start pitching yourself. You will not, maybe 2 to 3 years of time, but the moment you are there, nobody will be there. You would have traveled that much. And stay to that only. Don't deviate from that. Once you're comfortable, start earning, then you can diversify your expertise. This is my take.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So as you know, currently most of our defense products are made by public sector companies, and they do have a lot of experience in manufacturing
Exactly.
defense products. So is it possible to cooperate with them in making products, or are we absolutely alone in this journey?
It is going to be very specific with what you want exactly to do there. Okay. Probably there is a lot of stuff which public sector companies, manufacturing companies been doing for centuries and all. It's their monopoly. I'm talking about shells, I'm talking about explosives, so many things for the army or air force or something like that. So what I'm trying to tell is this particular, once you deviate from this into the emerging technologies, there is where, you can actually, otherwise, we can sell the most high quality shell, cheapest in the world. That's everybody is behind us. Just now we have offloaded tons into Russia. For Israel we have sold it. In US we are selling it. So all established technologies, they are masters in doing it, production and all. So those areas we should not get into. We should actually get into areas where, that technology is little futuristic in nature. So that we can establish technology, it is very difficult to fight. You can be a subcontractor to him. Simple as that. So that we should do much, much more than that. It's very important. Yes, last question. Yeah, thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, as we come to the conclusion of this particular session, which was both interactive and insightful, which contains various insights onto emerging technologies and its opportunities in defense, I like to extend my gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Jayakrishnan Nair, Commander, CEO and founder of Defense Research and Studies, for sharing the invaluable and extensive thoughts on this sector and for conducting 2 effective sessions. So let us take that insights that we gained today and continue the conversations beyond this session. As we move forward, we can collectively collaborate into these emerging technologies and focus on the present, future technologies in hand. So as a token of gratitude, I would like to extend a memento to Dr. Jayakrishnan Nair. I invite Principal Dr. Vishnu Rao for handing over the memento. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Professor Dr. Rajarshi MS, CEO of TrEST Research Park, for being with us today and gracing the occasion, providing the insights on TrEST and its related activities. Thank you, ma'am, for this. I extend my gratitude to Mr. Bobin George, who is Tech Lead EV, TrEST Research Park, for his insights and collaborative efforts for making this session fruitful and possible. Thank you, sir. Next, a special thank you to our deans, HODs, faculty members, staff and volunteers whose dedication and hard work was instrumental to the successful upbringing of this reality project and also the extensive work that is done during this session. Thank you all. Next, I would like to extend my gratitude to Principal Dr. Vishnu Rao, Director Reverend Father John Verghese, and Bursa Reverend Dr. Koshi Isaac Punnamutil for their unwavering support and their guidance for this work to come into place. Thank you all. Last but not least, to our participants and attendees, your presence today is a testament of commitment and learning and growth towards engaging and looking forward to the fruitful sections which are upcoming. As part of the first session regarding our collaboration with TrEST Park, this has been done. So upcoming lectures and sessions will also take place in the coming days. So we expect all in the engaging sessions ahead. Lastly, I would like to acknowledge the technical and logistics team whose meticulous planning and execution has resulted in the wonderful event that has taken place today. In conclusion, I would like to thank all the contribution and participations of all those present here. Together we can embark on a journey of knowledge and collaboration and foreseeing success. Thank you all once again, and I hope all of you have a wonderful and productive day ahead. Thank you.